So you either get assaulted by the aliens or assaulted by the federal government for talking about the aliens. But this isn't a joke. This information's so top secret, these whistleblowers are worried about getting murdered.
In the last couple of years, have you had incidences that have caused you to be in fear for your life for addressing these issues?
Yes, personally.
Former Department of Defense official Christopher Mellon joins me now. So, Christopher, what else can you tell us?
Well, I think a couple of things are clear from the hearing. First of all, our military is encountering vehicles that far surpass the capabilities of our own frontline aircraft. They're operating on a persistent basis in restricted military airspace. Sometimes they're jamming the sensors on our aircraft. So obviously this is far more concerning than lumbering Chinese balloons. This is something we have to get to the bottom of. The other thing I would say is it's very clear from the hearing today that there's a great deal of information that the government is still not sharing with Congress. The only question is how much information, how extensive is that information?
Are they not sharing it because they want to rip off the tech so other countries can't have it, or they just don't want to scare us?
It's hard to say. I don't know the answer to that question. I think in terms of the workforce, there's a sense of denial going on. I think there has been in the military for a long time. Generally, pilots don't report these things. When they do, people don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to engage on this topic. However, it is also clear that, at least at a senior level, there has been more investigation. There is more information than has been let on. So there was a discussion of subpoenas today. I think that's appropriate in this context. We learned today they're withholding satellite imagery, for example, which we knew existed because President Trump's Director of National Intelligence acknowledged that we have that. Here we are years later, that still hasn't been shared with Congress. So there's an example of critically important information that sheds new insights that's not being shared.
Sure, but it's now not
absolutely.
just UFO technology. They're talking about the discovery of actual alien life biology. What does that mean?
That's what they're talking. What I'm distinguishing between here is information that the government has acknowledged that absolutely exists that has not been shared with Congress, and other information that may exist that has not been shared with Congress.
So there are aliens, we're saying.
What I'm saying is that I know that we have satellite imagery that has not been shared with Congress, and when Congress sees that, they'll have a better determination of, are these things going at velocities, and are they of a shape that defies, that helps clarify they're not Russian or Chinese, et cetera. So some of this information was new today. Mr. Grush, who's someone I've known for a number of years, provided really startling testimony today. He's not a first-hand witness to these craft or to the beings on board. He does have access to people with the kinds of background and so forth that lend credibility to his testimony, but that remains to be proven.
So that's the last step to this, when you have an actual witness to the alien life to come forward with credentials from the Pentagon, then we're in the end zone. Until then, again, as you said, still a little mysterious. Chris, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.